Hey guys, welcome to our monthly Q&A.
What's going on? Hey, we're happy to be here. Hope you guys are happy too. And as you guys file in, we're gonna just take a few moments till we get people coming in and to share this to our pages, and we're gonna get started.
Yes.
All right. And if you come on, make sure that you click the share button to share it with some of your friends.
We should have did this at separate times. We shared at the same time. You know. Mine's going slow. Oh, it's finally here. Okay. My Charbria Shine page.
I have shared mine.
I am still trying.
All right. I'm listening to one of my favorite songs right now. My wife's new song. All right, we'll give it about another 30 seconds and we'll get started. All right, make sure you guys click that share button. It's going to be a good one tonight.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started.
Janae say she loves this song.
Oh, thanks, girl.
Me too.
If you guys haven't checked it out, check out It's Your Love right now. You don't have to wave at them. Do it like this. So that when I
Oh yeah.
save it, y'all don't have you touch it.
Okay.
I gotta save it straight, y'all. He messing up. Hey y'all, hey. Alright, so I'm gonna get started. I gotta find the questions you guys asked. Alright, let's get started. If you guys have questions, you could go ahead and put them in the chat. I'm calling them a chat because I've been on Zoom all week.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a chat, right? Is it still called chat on Facebook? All right, put it in the chat, and we would love to answer your questions. We do this once a month, our Q&A on singleness, dating, and relationships. And you guys send us all kind of questions, and it's awesome. But if you guys have any questions today, go ahead and type them in. We would love to answer your questions on those topics. All right, here is the first one. What are some tips on self-love and enjoying your own company in the absence of a romantic relationship? You want to answer that?
Repeat it one more time.
All right. Tips on self-love and enjoying your own company in the absence of a romantic relationship. So I can start this one off.
Okay, go ahead.
I would definitely say that it is so important in your singleness, yes, to discover yourself, who you are, the things that you like, the things that you dislike. I always talk about it, your strengths, your weaknesses, just really knowing you and really getting to know yourself and loving yourself and understanding who you are as a person, what you desire in a future mate and what you desire in friendships and all those types of things. So spending time with yourself, I feel like, is so essential. And so as far as self-love, really pouring into yourself, self-development, personal development. So whether that's you were in school or you have goals, you have dreams, go after those things. Write some goals, write the vision of what you want to accomplish within, the next month, years, and decade if you want. And that might change, but it's so important just to have a vision for your life right now if you're single in that single season. And focus, like I said, on that personal development. And also, what are some things that you like to do? Focus on those things. So for example, when I was single, I focused on lots of different hobbies. I started learning guitar, started taking vocal lessons, went back to school, started a ministry. Like, I just really wanted to pour out also into other people. So I did that, started a blog, started a YouTube channel, and just learned how to have fun. So of course, those of you who know me know about the Single and Satisfied movement. And so with that, in that singleness, I feel like it's so important to build your tribe of people to do life with. We're not meant to do life alone. So even if you are single, you're still supposed to surround yourself with like-minded people that you love, that love you, that have your back, that you can go through life with, enjoy, have fun. And also self-love is just accepting you for who you are. Loving your skin, yes, even your flaws. Because I feel like we could be so hard on ourselves, but especially in that season of singleness, like, what's wrong with me? I'm still single. I seem like I'm too much, never enough. And it's like, nah, cut that out. Love who you are. Like, just trust God with who you are and continue to grow, continue to learn, but pour into yourself. And I like to even talk about like some of the simple things that we may not do, like go get a massage, men and women. Go get a pedi and a medi. You know, did I say that right? Manicure, pedicure. Okay, I said it right. Treat yourself a little bit. Get comfortable in your skin. Right now it's during COVID, but some things are opening up where you can take yourself out to lunch and not feel ashamed, where you can just sit there and read a book and be okay with that. Take yourself to go see a movie. And again, that doesn't mean you always have to be alone, but just learning how to love yourself and how to be okay with you. Because the biggest thing is you have to be okay in your skin, with or without another human being. Even when you're married, you still have to be okay with you. You're not going to be perfect. They're not going to be perfect. You're not going to always please them all the time. And you have to be okay with that and know who you are and be strong in who you are. Oh, she said, I love my mani at petty time. I know that, right, girl? Yeah, absolutely. Or even taking a hot bath, putting some candles around, some music on. Like, you got to romance yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I just learned to romance myself, to love on me, to accept me, and to pour into myself. And so those are just some of the few tips of self-love, how to enjoy your company in the absence of romance. And even simple things, y'all. Like, I used to buy myself flowers. I'd be like, I'm having a self-care day, the hot bath, some candles, some music. I would put my little apple juice in my little champagne glass, put on my little jazz music on my instrumentals, just chill out, buy myself flowers, put them up. Like, you know, you have to just really love on you, okay? So, do you have anything?
And, you know, I'll say this too, like, even when a relationship comes, like that single time when you learn how to be whole, and knowing yourself and being able to be okay by yourself in your own skin, that sets up for being great in a relationship, because you need two people who are holding themselves to come together so that there won't be like an imbalance, you know, versus you got two people that they don't even know who they are, so they're so dependent and pulling on the other person because they don't know who they are. They don't know how to spend their own time with the Lord. They don't know how to be okay by themselves when they are by themselves, you know. So I think that's very important that, you know, that during that single time, you just get to know yourself and spend time with yourself. Like my wife said, do fun things by yourself just because, you know. And I had to get to that place as a single too. And I spent a lot of years single and just learning how to have fun. I'm talking about stuff like drive out to the airport strip and watch planes take off. Just stuff, you know what I'm saying? That just,
if you find that fun,
you know, whatever.
Like, no.
You know, dream. You know what I'm saying? I would spend hours just riding around, looking at houses, and just, you know, everybody has their things. So, you know, find out what those things are for you, so that you can do those things and be excited to do those things just because you love them, and get lost in them.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, get lost in, like, obviously God, and then some hobbies, and just find new hobbies. Like for me, at first I was like, okay, so what do I like to do? But I had that extra time in my singleness. And so I started doing all kind of stuff, y'all. I started like teaching fitness classes, taking up like Zumba and teaching that. I started like scrapbooking, but it was so much fun because I had some extra time. And again, that doesn't mean I spent all my time alone and lonely. No. Like, I spent time having fun, but also, like I said, I built a tribe of women to do life with. And all of my single season was not with a bunch of women. There were years where I felt isolated and it wasn't a bunch of people around me. But to me, that was some of the best times that I truly learned to depend on God. And I truly learned so much about myself, how to grow and learn through that. And I even learned hobbies and gifts and talents and abilities. In that time, I wrote my first book. And I feel like sometimes in that quiet season, that quiet time, God will help you discover so many awesome things about yourself, and He will even talk to you and speak into your life, things that you didn't even know about you, and projects that He wants to do through you. And it's just an amazing time. So don't despise that time where you might feel lonely or it might be less busy as you're used to. Spend that time really developing, growing, and trying to enjoy that season, because it's not going to be forever. Your season is going to eventually change if you desire it to. Mm-hmm. So another question, being unequally yoked. Are there multiple ways to be unequally yoked?
Yes, there's a lot of different ways. The Bible says don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers. So I think that's the primary way that you can be unequally yoked. You know, if you're a Christian, you're a follower of Jesus Christ, and then somebody that you like or want to link up with or get married to isn't, then the word is saying don't do that. You know, don't do that at all. Like, that's the primary way that, you know, is happening. What's up, Karen?
Hey.
That's the primary way that he's talking about. But just as far as any multiple ways, you know, I mean, outside of a relationship, you know, we're talking more like business type things where you're getting yoked up with someone that doesn't believe the same business practices and things like that. But as far
as
they
don't have integrity and you do,
right? Yeah. But also, I think it can even be, you know, outside of the primary way that the word seems to be talking about. I think there's levels to it, because you could be a Christian, you could be super strong, and then you can have someone that's not as strong. And for you have to be able to discern or decide, is this relationship going to be an imbalance? So really, that's not like talking about yokeness versus more of, am I making a wise decision? Because you may both be believers, but may not be at the same level. You know, you have to kind of take those things before the Lord. But like, I think in the black and white of it, you know, it's talking about unbelievers there. So like I said, there's levels, and those other things, I think they come maybe more of on the lines of wisdom. Like, you know, is this person, they don't believe what I believe. They think that I'm taking it too far, or I do too much because I go to all the prayer meetings and they don't want to. Well, that's wisdom. You probably shouldn't hook up with somebody like that, because as far as you want to take it in the Lord, they not there yet, you know. So, and then don't try to make them get where you are, you know what I'm saying, and think that it's gonna be okay. Like, yeah, you know, that's just wisdom right there. Like, don't try to make somebody be somebody you want, and they're not that person that you want them to be. So
I want to add also to that, so you're mostly talking about like spiritual. You can also be naturally unequally yoked as well. And so I always talk about how spiritually, absolutely, you want that to be first and foremost, your spiritual beliefs to be, you know, the same, but also things such as naturally. So like, if you have nothing in common at all naturally, probably not a good match for you. We know sometimes they say opposites attract, but usually that's in terms of like personality style, right? And sometimes personality opposites do attract, but you want to have something in common with the person that you're gonna be with, because you want to enjoy their company. So if you have nothing at all in common, like y'all both super spiritual, you love the Lord, but nothing at all in common, like you can't connect on the natural on anything, that's not equally yoked. And that's your choice if you still want to marry them, but you're probably not going to too much enjoy a life with them. So that's something to keep in mind too. I saw some questions. I'm going to look on here. It'll probably be easier. If you want to, or if you could look on there, that might be faster.
All right, so I got a couple. I think someone said that they didn't understand what being unequally yoked meant in their younger years, but now they do.
Oh, I saw that. Got it.
Yeah. So, you know, it's important to learn that, because, you know, you can honestly save yourself a whole lot of time, whole lot of energy, whole lot of heartache. Yeah. Save yourself a whole lot of pain. You know, if, you know, because here's the thing, what we believe is like, God is never wrong. Jesus is never wrong. Like, if he's saying that, it's a reason to. Now, sometimes we decide to be hard-headed and we go ahead and do it. Yeah. And then in the end, it's like, dang, like, that ain't work out. But then we can go back and say, man, the Lord said not to do that in the first place. You know, I could have saved all that, just listen to the Lord. Yeah. And so, you know, the thing is, if we've been there, some of us have been there, and just learn from it and keep it moving, because sometimes we do miss it. But, you know, this relationship thing is a serious thing, because, you know, what we believe is you're committing your life to somebody for the rest of your life. So that decision over many other decisions ought to be made with some careful concern, so definitely some thought, definitely some counsel. In the multitude of counselors, there's safety. You know, you need to make that decision wisely. And take your time doing it.
Yeah, this said, is this just for singles, married couples as well? It is. This is our monthly Q&A, which we talk about singleness, dating, and relationships, which is including marriage. So if anybody has questions about that, we answer that as well. So I have another question. This one kind of is a long one, so I'm going to try to summarize it. This young lady met someone in a Christian group online, and they hit it off well, and it seemed that every morning he was saying like good morning, at night, good night, and they were hitting it off. They finally had a conversation on the phone. Things seemed to go really well. She was honest with him that she didn't want to just date to date. You know, she was dating with the purpose or intention to eventually marry, though she wasn't in a rush, and that she was waiting for sex for marriage, and he seemed to be on the same page. And so, again, every morning she's saying it seems good, good morning in the morning, and then at night, good night, and then after a while, that went on for like, I think a week or two, and then it completely ceased. Like, it just completely stopped. No communication. And so she started to say good morning first, since he was always the one doing it, and then she saw communication start back. But then he texted her to tell her that he was on a date with another girl, and he would talk to her later. And because he said he was trying to find the one. So the question is, how would you handle that situation? So I guess he is being upfront with her in a way, but I don't know if she knew that in the beginning, like that he's going to talk to multiple people, because different people have different views on that. Some people want to talk to more people at once, but I think they just need to be honest about that. And some people are like, that's not how I get down. I want to only talk to one person at a time. But if you find that out, like in this situation, how would you handle that?
So this is this is how I would handle it. Like, here's the thing. You got to kind of start at the beginning. And I would say this for females. I know I'm a male, of course, but...
You think?
Yeah.
We hope.
But here's the thing. Females are more emotionally attached. Guys are different. We're not. That's how we're wired. And so as females, my advice would be, this is why you have to hold to your boundaries, and you have to hold to your standards, because a guy, you know, it's hard to say, but what guys do is they're not emotionally attached. So they'll come hang out with you. They'll do things. And sometimes,
or even say good morning.
Yeah, good morning and all of those sweet things, which to guys, we're not thinking about it as, oh, that's sweet. But a woman will, oh, that's so sweet. I'm like, what did I do? You know? So anyway, what I'm saying is, as females, even the more, my encouragement is to hold tight to your boundaries and in your heart, and really hold on to a guy really shows you that he wants you, and that he shows you through his pursuit. Because now when he does that, now it's like, okay, and I'm going to open my heart. What I see a lot of times is a lot of people open their heart up too soon, and they don't even know, you know, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. You always have to give Jack time to jump out the box, okay? Somebody can be sweet the first 12 days, okay? And the day 12 is when you're like, oh man, I'm gonna open up to him. And day 13th is when Jack jump out the box. You gotta let it give it some time, because now, you know, here's this guy that's like, okay, he's gonna stop communication. Well, it's okay to reach out and say why, ask why, whatever. But here's the thing. Sometimes you do have to believe people in their actions. Like, and here's the thing. When that guy didn't respond, and then now he reaches out and says, hey, I'm on a date, I'll talk to you later. What I would have wanted to see, not about me, what I wanted to see is, I would have wanted to see that the female to be in the place where she's so secure and hasn't opened her heart to say, you know what, he cool, he lost a good one. It ain't my problem. I'm gonna keep moving. But in that type of situation, there may have been some heart opening, you know, conversations or whatever, and then that guy just kind of did that. I don't think that's right about the guy, but at the same time, that's why things have to be talked out, especially in the beginning. So it's like, hey, you know, are we dating? Are we mutually exclusive? You know, me and my wife, it was plain as day. Like, I was looking for a wife. I wasn't looking for somebody to date for 2-3 years, anything like that. She wasn't playing either. She first question she asked me was, why should I allow you to interrupt my life? So we were already on one accord here as far as our seriousness. It wasn't like, well, I'm just trying to see, I'm trying to date around, you know, I ain't really trying to get serious with nobody right now. But then she's over here like, hey, why should I allow you to interrupt my life? By her asking that, even though I wasn't playing games, to me, that already let me know where her standards were. So I knew I couldn't come playing around.
So let me ask you a question. So with this scenario, though, it sounds like she wasn't playing around. She told him up front her stance on she's not dating just to date. You know, she's serious. She wants to marry, but she's not in a rush. So she wasn't putting pressure on him. She's just letting him know where she was at. And also that, like, she's not having sex until marriage. So she told him all of that. And everything seemed great. He was respectful. Everything seemed good. They seemed like they're on the same page. They seemed equally yoked. Until that day when, you know...
Stop communication.
And then she communicated. He reached out and he reached back out to her. But then after that is when he said, okay, I'm out on a date right now. I'm looking for the one or whatever.
Right.
So in that, I don't think she's in the wrong.
She's not in the wrong.
I just think in that situation, like you said, it's okay to be disappointed. She probably liked him because she thought things were going a certain way. But I think you're right. At this point, you have to... Especially if you kept sex out of it, which hopefully, you know, in her case she did. Even if you're a little disappointed, you shouldn't have given your heart all the way yet, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes in the beginning, she may not would have said, "Are we dating exclusively?" Like, I don't know if she would have like asked that day one, but I think she could have, if that was something important to her, expressed her feelings like, "Hey, you know, when we're talking, do you prefer to talk?" Because I think you do have to be on the same page. Do you prefer to talk to multiple people at the same time? Do you like to talk just to get to know a person exclusively, you know, one by one? I think you should ask that if that's going to be something that bothers you. Now, if you're cool with it, because everybody has different preferences. If you're cool with it and that doesn't bother you and you kind of feel like until we really hitting it off, until we know that we want to be together, or until we decide we want to date exclusively, I'm good if you talk to other people, then you don't have to ask that. But I think you have to be true to yourself and not set yourself up for heartache and failure right off the bat if you know that that's something that's going to bother you. Like for me, I'm going to be honest. I wasn't going to be one in a million. Like if we were going to get to know each other, I needed your undivided attention. And everybody doesn't need that. And that's cool. But just be real with where you are and know where you are and articulate that, you know, in the beginning so that hurt feelings, you can avoid that because you already know, okay, he's talking to other people. I'm getting to know other people. We're just getting to know other people. Yeah. We haven't decided yet if, you know, we want to take it there. Right now, it's just a friendship trying to see if we want more.
Right.
Again, but you have to be real with yourself. That for me wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Here's a question that we had up here.
Yeah, I see it. It says, what if you feel like you're more further ahead in your walk with Christ versus the guy that you're with? How do you know when to show grace or realize that it's not going to work? Okay, so let's see. Well, I'll go first. So I think this is also preference, but I'm just going to be honest from my perspective. From my perspective, when I met my husband, I was just in a place of just knowing who I was and just really in a strong place in the Lord. And for me, knowing that I was ready for a husband, I wanted a man who could lead me, be a leader in the home, be the priest of the home, you know, be the one to really guide our home according to the Lord. And I knew that's where I was and that's what I desired. So did I meet before him men who were Christians, but I was further along? Yeah. But for me, it wasn't going to work for me. And you have to know where you are. I've seen situations, not a lot to be honest, but I've seen some situations where both were saved for real, like love the Lord, but the woman was more, like you said, and then it's like, who's to really judge who's more mature? But you know, by the fruits, you know. The woman was more mature in the Lord, and she sought the Lord about it, and the Lord led her to be with this man. They did things the right way. Men ended up, you know, being a pastor. Things turned around. But that you better hear the Lord on that one. Mm-hmm. For me, I'm like, I'm not starting at a deficit because what if he never changes? I'm a person, I'm not dating someone's potential. I'm going to date your reality. But that's me, because I have been in situations where I met a guy who was a really nice guy, but it was that situation where I was way further along than him, and he was just, you know, just not there yet. Nice person, nothing wrong with that. We all have to learn and grow. but to be the leader of our home and to lead and guide me, I knew that that's just not, I didn't have time for that. I just wasn't at that place. And I don't think that that's selfish. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. You got to be real with you, because are you going to be frustrated? And as women, sometimes we already struggle with respecting the man that we're with, and sometimes just being strong-willed and independent. So if you're already with a man who you're more spiritually sound, you feel like you're way more ahead, and then he's lagging behind, how are you really going to respect him in your home to lead and to guide you and your household and your children? Or are you going to roll up your sleeves and you're going to try to be, so to speak, the man of the house or the spiritual leader of the house? And for me, I didn't want that. And I didn't want to take the time to see if that was going to happen, because I was like, no, I want a man who is spiritually mature, who I can see the fruits of the Spirit in, who can lead, who can guide me, who can help teach me. And so the situation with the other guy, it just didn't really work out. I was trying, but deep down in my heart, I knew it. I knew it just wasn't right for me. I knew we weren't equally yoked. Because again, you can both be believers and still be unequally yoked. For example, there's certain things that were beliefs that were important to us that we were like, no, I gotta have somebody who's filled with the Holy Spirit. And to each his own, but that's what we knew we wanted. We're like, we want to go as high in God as we can. Like, we in this thing, like we all in. And we knew how serious it is. And some people be like, oh girl, it don't take all that. Good. It don't take all that for you. But this is how far I want to go in God. And I know that I need a husband in my life who, puts the things of God as priority. And he wants to max out in his life spiritually. So again, it's your choice. But just know that if things don't turn out the way that you desire, because maybe, you guys get in a relationship, maybe you even get married, and then you see, man, like, I'm really wanting to go after God, and he just don't feel the fire. He just ain't really going after God. And it's like, well, really, you can't be mad at him. That's how he was. Like, he wasn't as spiritually mature when you met him. So, and each situation is different. It's kind of hard to speak to that situation when I don't know all of your situation. But just for me, I'm like, I'm not starting at a deficit. And I don't think that's being judgmental. I don't think that is selfish. This is a person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. You better know what you're getting yourself into. And you better have your standards and stick to them. Because the only person that's going to deal with that decision is you. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, I definitely think you have to take your time. If there's somebody that you're interested in,
take your time, because he could grow.
Exactly. But here's the thing: if you see somebody like that, and let's just say you're in the same church, or maybe you go across town to churches or whatever, like if that person, male or female, well, if you're, if it's a male or female that you're interested in, if you're a guy, then female, if you're a lady, then male, then, take time for that person that is not as on a spiritual level as you. Take your time, watch them serve. Watch them, give them time to grow if you're interested. Yeah. Don't get into relationship things when you're not even sure that you want to date that person or take it to the next level. Sometimes when you get into relationship type things and start dating and all that, then later on it's pressure to now come out of it when you don't know if that person is on the same level as you. But if you wait to see how that person is going to be on their own, then you can make a proper decision. Yeah. Because here's the thing, like the first question we talked about, it's like, when you're single, a single person should be whole. They should be growing in God, loving God, going after the things of God. And if I can't see that growth in them when it's just them and God, then how can I trust that now we get together? Now they have a responsibility of living for God, and they got me to think about. I can't think that that's going to happen automatically because I want them to grow. Yeah. So you got to kind of think about it like that. Like, sit back and watch them for a season. If somebody on the job wants to promote somebody and it's a boss, they're watching their performance. They're watching them. They're taking their time before they promote them to a higher level. How much more when it's time to get married to somebody for the rest of your life, especially for the female, somebody that you're entrusting your life to, a male. You gotta watch that joker. Yeah. You gotta see what he's about. Like, don't
rush him.
How he looking and he cute and whatever. He raised his hand a couple times, praise the Lord. Okay, watch him about 100 times. You know, you want to
How does
see
he act outside of church?
how does he act outside of church. And it's the same going back the other direction.
Yeah.
You know, you got to pay attention to some things. So take your time. And if that person, like I say, if that seems like that person they haven't been in it like long as you have, you've been saved for 10 years, they just got saved, or they've been saved for 2. But you're interested, okay, watch them from afar for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to hang out in groups. You know, go to their church event, let them come to your church event. You don't need to be hanging out alone, and you don't know if he on the same spiritual level, because that's just going to invert things, and things going to get out of whack, and then now you're going to be wondering why things are like they are, and you can't seem to make a decision, and you know, so take your time.
Well, that's a great point that you brought up. Take your time. I think that's great because that is true, and I didn't think it from that perspective. But especially if like maybe there's a friend of the family, or you work with them, or they go to church, that's a little bit of a different situation because you still get to be around them and see their lifestyle. I was thinking more so like you just met somebody and you could tell they're not on the same page. But yeah, if they're like that where you can get to see their lifestyle from afar, God can do it. You know, you never know. And where they develop and they grow, and then it'll be a better time, you know, that God can present that person to you. Yeah, I'm not going to waste my time, honey. Glad it was a hypothetical question and not my reality. This is not a game. I'm trying to go all the way for God with my future hubby. Absolutely awesome. Yeah. Yep. That's great.
And for me, like I knew, like my wife said earlier that there were things that we wanted. And for me, it was, you know, their choices.
Yeah.
And for me, I was either going to have them or I wasn't going to be married. Like I was trusting God if I had to wait another 5 years. Like I just knew how serious marriage was. Yeah. So I wasn't just going to go say, you know what, I'm 45 now. Let me just go ahead and grab somebody.
And we both had many opportunities to settle. But it was just like when you know who you are in God and you know, like you said, what you want, you're just like, nah. And we were older too, so we've seen people, you know, jump into relationships, jump into marriages, divorce, or stay together but they're miserable because they settled. And, you know, individually, thank God, we were just determined not to settle. And I think that's really important. And like you said, whether I'm waiting 5 or 10 years, I'd rather be waiting single, you know, than now I'd rather wait that 5 years single than jump into a marriage and be 5 years miserable. So I think it is important to take your time, and it is important to trust God, hear God, and watch that other person if you're interested in somebody, and just not play games and just be upfront. So I think that's it. And I think that's all we have for today. That's about it. So thank you guys. Again, we do this once a month. You can always submit your questions to us at any time via message, or if you want to email me at info@charbria.com if that's easier for you, that's fine as well. And then what else do we have going on? If you're single, join our Single and Satisfied Facebook group. Right now we have our Single and Satisfied study via Zoom every Tuesday. We've been having a great time in that. And make sure you check out Charbria Music on YouTube. Got a lot of new videos and music out right now. So is there anything I'm forgetting, babe?
That is it.
All right, guys. So we love you guys as always. Have a great night, and we will see you a month from now. That first week. In what month is this?
April.
This is April. This is March. This is March. We'll see you that first week in April. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Bye-bye.